Hey guys, what's up? This is Tony Paradis, licensed dietitian, personal trainer with Food and Fitness. Check out the website down below, foodandfitnessonline.com. Bear with me today. I'm using a new microphone, so hopefully the audio is good. And what I'd like to talk about today is a former client of mine who's a student needed to ask some interview questions in the terms of powerlifting, so we're going to go ahead and go through those. So this is a Q&A with powerlifting from a coach's perspective. So that's interesting to you? Go ahead and follow along with this video. Okay, so I have some notes here. First question is, what intrigued you about being a personal trainer and powerlifting coach? What intrigued me was that exercise was really something that I enjoyed, and it became not only just a hobby of mine, but a lifestyle. And it became something that I wanted to share with other people. And it made me feel so good to get stronger, to build muscle, and the self-confidence and good health that comes with that, to be able to share that with other people. So that's why I was first intrigued about becoming a personal trainer and a powerlifting coach. Okay, next question. What are some difficulties that individuals face when attempting powerlifting without proper supervision? So first, let's talk about what is powerlifting. Powerlifting is a sport in which you lift for a maximum the squat, bench, and deadlift. At the competition, these things are called meets, and you get 3 attempts for every lift in the squat, bench, and deadlift. There's different kinds of powerlifting. There are natural organizations and untested organizations for performance-enhancing drugs. And there's also organizations that compete in different classes or themes of powerlifting. So it could be raw, meaning they're not using any lifting aids other than a belt. There's double ply and single ply shirts that people can wear to help get extra benching. And that's all up to the rules and the regulation of the federation. There's lots of different powerlifting federations. So that's what powerlifting is. Okay? Powerlifting is not you just lifting heavy weights. Okay? If you compete in powerlifting, you are a powerlifter. If you plan on competing in powerlifting, that's what you're training for, sure, that's powerlifting. Just because you're lifting a barbell or you're lifting heavy, that is not necessarily means the same thing. So, what are some difficulties that individuals face when attempting powerlifting without proper supervision? Well, first of all, if we're talking about a sport, it's the fact that this individual may not know the sport. They may not understand the nuances, the rules, how to prep for a meet, all that sort of stuff. That would make it a lot easier if you had supervision. But also in the context of the training. So the squat, bench, and deadlift, once you load enough weight up on those movements, they can become potentially dangerous if you're not using good form. So having somebody with proper supervision that satisfies 3 requirements of a safe program. 1, that they're lifting with proper form. 2, that they're following a good program to make sure that they're not overtraining or they're not training the wrong things. And finally, number 3, are they preparing for a meet and getting the proper coaching to actually compete in the sport of powerlifting. Okay, next question is, when it comes to young athletes, how essential is proper technique? I mean, when it comes to anybody, proper technique is essential. If you're not using good technique, then you're setting yourself up for injury. It doesn't have to be like textbook good technique in the sense that you have to do it the way that everybody else does. Everyone has their own individual biomechanics and the way that they're set up. But using proper technique within those parameters is vital. What are some experiences you've had with young athletes in powerlifting? Powerlifting as a sport is a great way to get young athletes, what's the word I want to look for it, competitive, focused around a goal. We know that in strength and conditioning, it's beneficial for any athlete to be stronger. Knowing that, how do we get the athlete to comply with that? Well, like in an off-season program, training somebody for a powerlifting meet can get them motivated, can get them excited, give them a goal, and just that personal sense of satisfaction of being able to accomplish something like that. So that's how powerlifting as a sport can help an athlete. Now, how does lifting heavy, like doing the powerlifting movements, help an athlete? It helps them get stronger, it helps them to build muscle, and I don't need to get into it, but that's very important for athletes to have. Okay, next question. Why is it paramount that young athletes seek proper coaches when attempting such sports? If you want to get good at road racing, you hire a cycling coach with a specialty in road racing. If you want to get good at wrestling, you work with a wrestling coach. If you want to get good at powerlifting, you should work with somebody that not only knows the biomechanics and coaches powerlifting, but competed in it in themselves. So it's it's paramount that you seek the right coach for the right sport. Okay. When it comes to powerlifting, what long-term effects are possible if the individual does not use proper techniques? Loss of range of motion, perhaps what's the word I'm looking for? Inefficient training, so they're not getting as much bang for their buck as they could. And third, and most importantly, is they get injured. You can get injured a little bit, or you can get injured bad enough to where you have residual problems for the rest of your life. So if you're not using proper technique, you could really hurt yourself. Okay, got two more left. First one is, as a coach, what difficulties do you face when it comes to teaching? As a coach, part of the difficulty is that everybody has their own individual component. Not necessarily a difficulty, I mean that's what makes it fun, but sometimes you're working with limitations that aren't necessarily ideal for what you want. Perhaps this person has a time or a budget restraint where they can only see you once a week, and that has its own difficulties. How can you help that person the most while giving them kind of a minimalistic hands-on approach? Another thing could be, does this person have a lot of different goals and a lot of things that they're trying to accomplish at the same time? This can be a difficult thing, especially for an unexperienced coach, if you're not used to working other sports and requirements into using powerlifting as a tool for that athlete. And there are many other things, difficulties, maybe you have equipment limitations or something like that. But for me, these are all not necessarily difficulties, these are challenges, and these are things that make coaching unique and make the sport of powerlifting unique. And it's fun to find solutions for that. And finally, last question, is there anything else you'd like to add about youth involvement in powerlifting? And I'll just say this, powerlifting is a growing sport, especially with the internet and a lot of young men participating in social media, on YouTube and whatnot, looking for ways to get stronger, to build muscle. And powerlifting is something that if you start off as a youth, you're going to excel in your sports. Okay, there's other ways to do it, but powerlifting is one of those things that has camaraderie. It's a sport in and of itself. It teaches self-discipline, mental toughness, hard work, and all these things are really important for an athlete. But something super cool is that powerlifting is an individual sport. You're on the platform, you're the one doing the lifting, you're responsible for both your failures and for your successes. Powerlifting is really, really great for somebody because it's something you can do for the rest of your life. You can do it when you're 30 years old, 40 years old, and beyond, and still compete and always be able to take that with you. So for those reasons and more, I recommend that young athletes do this because it's something that they can take with them even off the field. For example, as a football player, if you want to play football as an adult, you have to get all the equipment, you have to find a team, you have to organize meetings and all that stuff, which is great, if you can do that. To participate in powerlifting, you have to go to a gym and train for powerlifting. Usually it's something that most people can continue to do for the rest of your life. When you're no longer an athlete, you're still a person, you're still a human, and you need to take care of your body. Powerlifting can be an integral part in that. So that's my 2 cents on that. Thanks for your questions. If you guys have any more questions about powerlifting, I'm certified is a USA powerlifter, also is with USA weightlifting. Be happy to answer any questions and go into more detail. For you young athletes watching, I highly recommend that you seek out a powerlifting coach if this is something that you do want to get into, or at the very least somebody that is experienced in teaching, instructing, and performing the squat, bench, and deadlift, which are the 3 powerlifting moves. Okay guys, that's it. If you got any comments, leave them down below. Please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time.